Ukraine conflict drives up food, energy and finance costs. The Russian war in Ukraine not only has caused terrifying levels of death, destruction and suffering in Ukraine. It has also triggered food, energy and finance crises that particularly are impacting on scores of poor countries with a total of 1.7 billion people. The United Nations said in a first report on the global impact of war in Ukraine on food, energy, and finance systems. The 22-page report said preliminary assessments showed that the 1.7 billion people exposed to the war's repercussions live in 107 poor economies in Africa, Asia and the Pacific and in the Caribbean and Latin America regions. These are countries where people struggle to afford healthy diets, where imports are essential to satisfy the food and energy needs of their populations, where debt burdens and tightening resources limit governments' ability to cope with the vagaries of global financial conditions, the report said. It said either of the COVID-19 pandemic, debt payments, climate change or food shortages and blackouts can collapse the economy. Of the 1.7 billion people, 553 million people are already poor and 215 million are already malnourished. The report said the war has impacted on food production and caused rising food prices worldwide, which will be felt through 2023. Russia and Ukraine are major wheat and maize producers as well as fertilizers. On energy, the report said, energy markets were already tight before the start of the crisis, following strong consumer demand and high GDP growth in 2021. Though crude oil and natural gas are still around 50% above their level at the start of the year, they have witnessed volatile trading sessions following key announcements since the start of the war. On finance, the report said, we are on the brink of a global debt crisis. Even before the start of this crisis, developing countries spent on average 16% of their export earnings in servicing their debt obligations, with small island developing states spending more than twice this figure.
Now, since the Russian Federation's invasion of Ukraine, the world's attention has been focused on the war's terrifying levels of death, destruction and suffering.
UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres said in presenting the report,
36 countries count on Russia and Ukraine for more than half of their wheat imports, including some of the poorest and most vulnerable countries of the world. And prices were already on the rise, but the war has made a bad situation far worse. And third, we need to pull developing countries back from the financial brink. The international financial system has deep pockets. I've been strongly advocating for its reform, but developing countries need help now, and the funds are there.
Stay up to date with the latest news on the United Nations and the world. Make sure to subscribe to this Facebook account by clicking the button above this video. See you next time.